Mr. Castañeda, I'm going to go to you, and we'll come back around.
Thank you, Mr. Ellison. Kind of go along with the agenda we have. I think it's what's next, and I want to talk a little bit about that. And what's next is, I think, this is a start. We have to have these hard conversations with others who don't look like us, with others who do look like us. But I think more importantly, we have to have these hard conversations with ourselves. We have to look inward. What caused me to say this is one of the things Mr. Wymore said, and I must respectfully disagree with one of the things he said. He said that in deciding if there's institutional racism, he thought that was a difficult call to make. I think the complete opposite. It's easy. There is institutional racism in many of our institutions in our culture. And he mentioned the fact that he believes the chief is a good person, and from everything I've seen, I agree. Does that mean that there is not institutional racism in policing in America? There is. You look all across. In Buffalo, New York, 50 whatever individual police officers resigned from the special force because one of the officers or two of the officers were disciplined. A couple nights ago, I think, in Atlanta, there was a sick out by police officers who were calling in sick because there were charges against two of the officers. That's institutional racism. Does that mean individuals involved in this institution are all racist? No. I disagree with that premise. I professionally work in the juvenile justice system. I defend juveniles in Travis County who are accused of committing crimes. I will tell you, and I've done this for over 2 decades, I will tell you the juvenile justice system in Travis County, one of the most progressive counties in Texas, has institutional racism. Right now, there are 15 children in juvenile detention in Travis County. Okay, they cleared out a bunch of them because of COVID-19, but right now there are 15 children. And they cleared it out about 3 months ago in the middle of March. Out of those 15 children, 8 are Latino, 6 are African American. The remaining one, if anybody here guessed white, you would be wrong. He's of Middle Eastern descent. In the 3 months since they cleared out juvenile detention as much as they say they can, I think they can do better, and we're fighting for that, but that's a different story for a different day. Since then, there have only been 2 white children, those 3 months, who have been detained. And there was a period of time that they overlapped for 1 day, so there was a period of time they had 2 white children. Since they cleared out detention, it's been averaging between 12 and 18 children. 2 white children. Now, I think that's a clear example of institutional racism. There's over-policing in communities of color. Another example, as I said, my wife teaches. She's an African-American teacher. She's told me stories that whenever she's teaching and another teacher in her grade level who has an African-American student has some issue, maybe that child is not behaving quite as well as he should have, they'll hand him over to her and say, can you deal with this? That's institutional racism. There's institutional racism in public education. So we have to have these conversations with ourselves, and I hope that individuals who don't want to see what's out there can look and see there's institutional racism. I may not be a racist, but I participate in the juvenile justice system, which has that kind of racism. That doesn't mean everybody's racist. My boss is African American. One of the prosecutors I deal with, she's African American. Are they racist? I don't think so, but that doesn't make it not institutional. So I would ask everybody here, everybody watching online, to have those conversations. See beyond what you want to see. Look at the facts, look at the outcomes. And with that, I think we can move forward. Otherwise, we're just spinning our wheels and denying and denying. So we need to move forward, and that's what I would suggest, and hopefully that can be one of the steps we can use to move forward. Thanks.
Absolutely.